My wife just came here and grabbed a bottle. So the other thing is marrying right.
Oh,
That's been huge for us too.
Absolutely.
Make sure you're with someone that you want to be with for life, because if you can build together, it's a lot easier when you're building with two people versus one.
These cars are parked in twos. Wifey's got the equivalent as well, because these guys don't go and roll in a $350,000 car if their wife's driving a Chevy Cobalt. You build that together with the right woman. The wrong one is going to make you poor. You're going to waste all your money that you should be investing. This partner that you're trying to impress becomes your investment, and she can leave, or he. Don't get me wrong. We're going to be doing this same thing with a group of very successful ladies. So this isn't exclusive to men. Women are going to tell you, stop with that about we're holding women back. Women don't get the opportunities. You try telling that to our women, because we're afraid of them. That's why they're not here today, because they're smarter than us. They're going to get their own seat to talk about it, because you do not get in the way of women like that. They will crush you. They're smarter than us. And when women realize they're actually smarter, they will take over the world. But so many want to stick behind this that gets propagated about pink taxes and all that kind of shit. Yeah, that applies if you're not even applying effort into your life. Yeah, it's going to look like people are holding you back. But if you're an entrepreneur and you happen to be female, or whatever pronoun you want to identify at, the only person putting a ceiling on what you can earn is you. That's it. Let's drop that one, because that was a great point. Your partner doesn't have to be husband, wife. It could be whatever orientation, whatever identifying factor you want to be. Whoever your significant other is should not be a dependent. They should be your anchor on this line. I am so serious. That is so important. Next topic. What do we got here? Oh, actually, back to the saving thing that we're talking about. If you think saving is the way to do it, let's be completely honest. If you want full value for your money, you better spend it the moment you get it. And I'm going to explain that, because that sounds opposite to any type of investing strategy. If you know that inflation's 10%, the longer you hold on to your money, it's worth less. So if you spend it the moment you get it, if you got $100 today, you can buy $100 worth today. If it's chewing 10% out a year, in a month from now, you can only spend 90.25%. Do you understand what I'm saying? You've already lost almost 1% a month from now. So if you have no game plan to actually get further ahead in life, no investing, spend your money the moment you get it. That way you get the full value. As stupid as it sounds, you're obviously not listening if you're not doing it the other way. So that's how you might as well.
Yeah, so coming back to that, I have $0 in my checking account at all times.
You must be poor. You can't pull $100,000 out right now. You're clearly not rich. Tell me why you have no money in your savings or checking account.
As soon as that money hits, it's gone. Either to some investment or something. I use it to pay bills, of course, and you always pay bills on time, so you don't pay any late fees or anything like that. But otherwise, every other cent is gone instantly.
You mean you don't tap it to get $10 coffees? Come on, that's what you should be doing. Or a car you can't afford, or a house that's $200,000 more than you can afford because the bank said you could get it and you could show it off to the owns this. Is any of this sinking in? Does this sound like you or anybody you know? Then you better keep listening. And if you've checked out, you. Because we're not here to make your life better. We're hoping this at least rubs the surface and gets through. Because this is how people need to hear. Nobody wanted to hear when we do this for free and teach you how to start a business. So now we're going to show you what money can do.
No, same idea.
Same idea?
Neil's saying it's at zero. Even though he's saying zero, everybody's thinking the big old goose egg. It might be he knows he needs, say, $2,000 to cover his bills. His account has, say, $3,000 in it, just to crazier shit happens. But that's him being broke as a zero, just to make sure his day-to-day is taken care of. But same idea. Absolutely. As soon as my stuff comes in, I leave my float, which for round numbers call is $5,000.
Yeah. Well.
And I know people probably listening are like, well, you have $5,000, must be nice. Well, I've even like yourself, all the hours in school, like kudos to you as well. Like everybody found there's so many different ways to make money now. Internet, there's kids that aren't even 10 years old making more money than the three of us combined on like playing video games. One guy in the States won $6 million playing a video game competitively. Like Well, kudos to them.
There's so many
but
ways.
Do you
just
notice
gotta
nobody
find your
here took a
niche.
shot? You notice nobody here took a shot at a 6-year-old or 10-year-old making millions of dollars? You want to know why? Because successful people don't on people for making money. We're like, damn, you found a market that you could make money and not be a burden on society.
Make yourself valuable and exploit it.
But it's awesome.
why
Like,
not?
Whoa, say that again.
Make yourself valuable. Like, everybody wants the money, wants everything now. The downside, the internet has been a double-edged sword. It's made everybody now think, especially in this century with Instagram and Facebook, it's a highlight reel. Nobody sees the struggle. Nobody sees anything else. Everybody expects to be rich tomorrow or tonight, or, oh, well, I did this, so I need to be rich now. They don't see the hard work. Like, I always joke now where it's like, oh, well, you're pregnant. Yeah, you're pregnant, you had a kid, but you don't know how many times it took you to finally get pregnant. Like, it's a struggle. Like, people sit there. I've had friends and lost friendships because of it, because they might be like, it must be nice. Well, when I'm out, whether it's anywhere from minus 56 Celsius, I've seen 75 above Celsius now. And they're all, well, it must be nice. Well, you know what? I really wish I wasn't putting in 400 plus hour months. So if you look at it on a 40-hour work week, in 1 month, I put in like 3 months worth of work to somebody else. And I always say, it's not me being cocky or arrogant. If you're not willing to go above and beyond, you will never achieve anything above and beyond. You think that everybody now thinks, oh, well, Tesla this, Elon Musk, great, smart individual. And he also sort of broke that gray area where education is key to making a great life. We have an engineer, not ever knocking that. Education does definitely open a lot of doors and avenues.
No, but that's why I'm more impressed about your guys' struggle, where I have a master's degree in chemical engineering. You know, that sort of set me up for life, and yeah, I worked hard to get it, but at the same time, you have someone without that level of education achieving the same, which is more impactful and inspiring to myself watching that happen.
But you got the insurance.
But I got
Anywhere
the
you
insurance.
step, you can step into a 6-figure job.
It makes life easier.
And that's labor.
And that's what I'm saying. It's more inspiring because you put in the work,
get to the same
invest
result.
it, but we both get the same result, right? So
I got to ask you though, just so everybody understands. I get to see this guy once every 6 weeks if I'm lucky. Explain what you do. No, you don't have to explain your job. How often do you get to see your significant other or drive that beautiful car? Please tell everybody what sacrifice is to have this.
Even now, since summer of 2011, I've been working internationally. Luckily, it's been sort of an even time rotation. So even at that case, I'm home a maximum of 6 months a year. So you go and you half that, I get maybe 1 month of spring, 2 months of summer, and then if because the weather unfortunately here is sporadic, I might be able to drive the car, I guess call it best case scenario, maybe 60 days a year. I get to see my spouse half the year. Even this year, I was even home to wish my grandfather, he passed. I was actually home. So,
It hurts, man. I get
oh
it.
yeah,
Does this sound like it must be nice? So if you say something like that, go f yourself.
Given the luxury and how the world was closed, I was actually home to say my goodbye and everything.
You were forced into being with your loved ones.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you were in the middle of your hustle to get where you're going.
Oh yeah,
Don't ever criticize someone whose life you're not living in. I'm so serious on that.
Oh yeah.
You lose shit. You have to give up shit. Do you see a fucking ring? Do you see any kids? No. But probably 40 of the people that are watching this don't have my equity. But I had to give up everything to get it.
Oh yeah, it's
And all the money
I'm
you make,
fortunate.
can you get that time back?
never. So I look at it now where yes, I work my ass off for a month, putting in probably 14 to 16 hour days, but when I'm home, I actually get to spend that much more time with my family and loved ones and try to get together with friends, and it's still difficult. I
don't get into
to
fights
hang out
with
with you
them, right?
guys
we're pretty
so
awesome.
well,
Yeah.
but still get to see you guys maybe a handful of times when I'm at home if we're lucky, but it sucks to be away or miss out on so much stuff.
And you don't waste your valuable time at home getting into fights over who has more money, who has a nicer car. You're just like, hey guys, you want to go for a drink? You guys want to go for a cruise? And we don't care if you're looking at us in our cars. We're doing it for us. We didn't buy them so you're looking at them.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever he's back in town, of course, I'm going to make time out of my day to come sit down and have the that we've earned. We didn't take it from any of you. Okay, understand that.
And the other thing, like for cars, when it comes to cars, and we look at all this, like for my wife and I, like we associate cars with value. So we love cars and we love driving them. That's part of it, but it's not the flex. They also make us money. So we see value in them, and then we buy them, we flip them. So we've been here for 10 years, but we've gone through about 18 cars. We flip them, we make
Side
money.
hustle. Man makes 6 figures a year anyways, invest, and there's something else he invests in. What's on the hoist right there is worth what? 120, 140K more than you bought it for?
Yeah, so we picked it up for about...
You don't even have to talk about that. Let's just throw out a number. How much more is it worth than what you bought it, got the enjoyment of driving it, because you knew what to buy?
Right now it's about 120 more.
120K more than he bought it for.
So
what's your car doing for you?
And this is where cash flow comes into play. We put 30,000 down on that car. Now that car is worth 120K more than what we paid for it. That's again another, what's that? 300, 400% return on 30 grand, right? So as long as we had the cash flow to make the payments, there's no problem. But I'm more, and my wife and I are more about the value and how can we make money off of things. So that's why we have nothing in our checking account, because we use the cash flow to buy things. I'd rather spend $20,000 on a Rolex than $10 on a coffee.
And most people wouldn't get that. They're like, oh, you're such a pretentious for doing that. No, we get to enjoy the things we do, because when we go to sell them, they're worth more than we bought them. And that's just another product of knowledge. If you know the markets you're getting into, which comes with time, you're going to have to learn. But that also means dropping your ego, opening up your mind, and learning about the markets you're getting into. Don't just throw money at crypto because someone else who bought back in 2011 made $100 million overnight. They didn't make it overnight. They bought it at $1 or $2 back in 2011 and cashed in yesterday. So they got all that money. But you know what? Most of them aren't even that smart, because they never honestly earned it. What happens when they get that $1 million, they cash it all in at once. Guess what? If you're in Canada, Trudeau wants half of it. But you thought you were so smart. I'm 20 grand into my crypto investment. It's up at $1 million. And I'm going to take it all up. Look at that, I made $1 million. Yeah, you did. And Trudeau's going to come and pat you on the ass. Biden's going to do the same thing. Do not question that. I mean, it's so serious.
And the other thing is, this is for people starting out. So I remember when we started out 10 years ago with nothing.
Sorry, chopper's flying over. He's saying for people starting
out. Yeah. The biggest thing with us was just, you want to save money. You want to figure out how to lower your expenses. That's the biggest thing, is your operational expenses. That's what we always call them. It was minimize how much you're spending on consumables. So going out to restaurants, buying those coffees, that all adds up. Instead of buying a $10 coffee, put that in the market. Do things to build cash, and then eventually the value just grows, and then it equals this. And that's the big thing. I watched the stories of like Manny Koshpin and what he did. This guy he came from Iran to the US, and the sensitivities there. The guy started working as a janitor at Kmart, and he was spending like $50 a week on groceries. He'd eat Kraft dinner every day, and every other dollar that he had, he was saving. So he was saving almost $1,000 a paycheck. And by the end of the year, he had $12,000. Then he started buying cars, and then he got into real estate. And all starting as a janitor at a Kmart. Like, it's wild. Now the guy's worth $500 million, but
Bugatti calls him when a new model comes out.
Right. Like, the guy's story is inspiring, and I love listening to all those stories. And it's not just where you're at now, but it's how you started. That's the key, because a lot of people here, they want to learn how to start. And that's the key.
Well, even now, had I known when I was younger, I'd be substantially further ahead, because with investments and everything else, not having capital definitely helps. However, a simple investment, it doesn't have to be much. But just having me at 18 versus, say, investing at 25, I lost 7 years of compound interest.
Can I touch on that one?
Oh yeah, give it.
I got to really elaborate on that. We're not saying we know everything. I was at yeah, exactly.
Find your spot and get going.
If you're the smartest person in the room, leave the room.
And the cameraman working it right now, he can attest to this because he's known me since I was 18. I was at the top of my ladder income-wise in my 20s. So my group of people that I'd sit around and have drinks with, they looked up to my income. And I thought, you know what, I'm king of Turd Island. because I'm the top of my group. When I started hanging out with the next group, I wasn't the top rung on the ladder. I wasn't even the bottom rung on the ladder. I was the fucking feet sticking in the fucking mud. That's where I was compared to them. But you know what I did? I didn't hate them for having more. You hear me talking a lot now, but I was the quiet one. We'd get around and these people with, write this number of zeros down. 8 zeros with a number in front of it. That's a 9-figure net worth. The guys who are about to cross $1 billion. For some reason, they took on a stupid little kid like me with an ego and decided to teach. So did I question everything? Yeah, I questioned what they did, but did I tell them they were stupid? Did I tell them they made their money by taking from me? No, I shut my mouth, listened, and watched for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
My 20s, I was doing better than everyone in my group. But the people I got exposed to and I put myself in that place are why I'm where I am. And I will completely put my ego aside and say 95% of what I have right now is from shutting the up and listening. Smarter people are where they are because they learned. If you already know everything, you know what? Just unsubscribe, stop following, leave a negative comment. If you want to learn, this is the first in a very long series. If you want to learn so you can get out of 5 figures into 6 figures, out of 6 figures into 7, please stay along this. I am sorry about the profanity, but some of this shit gets me worked up because I've been fielding, what are we over, 22,000 questions we have over COVID? 22,000 social media questions on our private pages and our community pages. Nobody fucking listens. Now that COVID's done and we're no longer being sensitive to everybody, we're just going to show you what this does, having the knowledge. But you got to put your egos aside and admit you don't know everything. I don't know everything. But if you're watching, us 3 probably know a little more than you. Doesn't mean what you know isn't important. Comment and tell us how you're doing. Because if you got a success story, even if you got a success story where you got a $5 an hour raise and a promotion, we want to here because we love it. We're not going to spend any time on the haters. We don't have time for them. But you know what? If you're making minimum wage right now and you're working towards the next promotion, that we want to hear. Please leave a comment because we're going to be your biggest fan. The negativity you're hearing isn't even negativity. It's sick of people with their victim mentalities. You mentioned online earnings. Do you realize that no one can tell whatever you identify as, whatever religious beliefs you have, if you have some, if you, whoever you are that you think could be held back by someone judging you, that doesn't exist if you're in online sales. There are no excuses there, and I get it. Me being a white male sitting here with 3 other well-off white males, that's going to trigger some people. Yes, it can, and you're rightfully so, based on what's going on right now. You can look at it and say, well, that doesn't apply. I can't do what they did because they're that. Even if you have more hurdles in the way, if you hold on to that for the next 40 years of your life, you're going to die poor because you let something that someone else told you is holding you back. Or you can get out there and hustle.